I honestly can't remember the last time that Nintendo's headed into a generation actually one of the front runners when it comes to how it could potentially sell or what is going on. I couldn't believe this article that I saw the other day. Many of you guys let me know about it, talked to me about it on my live streams, linked it to me on Twitter, and wanted to hear my thoughts on it. So I will go over this situation that potentially Sony or Microsoft will struggle mightily next to what Nintendo is doing. So there essentially isn't room for all three, which is definitely a very interesting take. So we'll go over that and a bit more gaming news. But before we do, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more first as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump right into this article here. This is from DFC Intelligence. Looks like they're doing some analyzing of the market, and they have essentially said that Sony or Microsoft will struggle mightily in a distant third place next generation. So they're talking about the PlayStation 6, the next Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch 2. Shoutouts to My Nintendo News for the beat on this one. Says that market research firm DFC Intelligence has released a report on the future of the gaming industry, which makes it clear that the current stance on the matter is that Nintendo will come out the dominant leader in the next generation of consoles, with either Sony or Microsoft languishing in second and third place. Nintendo is heavily expected to release the Switch 2 this year, which will give it a strong head start over the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox console, which are both expected to release in the next few years. Quote, "There isn't room for more than two major console systems. Sony or Microsoft will struggle mightily in a distant third place, largely depending on which of those companies can gain early momentum." So once again, this is very interesting because usually what I'm used to, because I've been covering Nintendo pretty much every single launch since the 3DS/Wii U. So I've covered them from the Wii to the Wii U and from the Wii U to Nintendo Switch. And I've seen obviously all the way dating back from the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo to the N64, N64 to the GameCube. And most of the time, Nintendo, in terms of recent memory, is not going in as a favorite overall. Usually there's some type of situation, like from the Wii U to the Switch, where people were down on it. Obviously, from the DS to the 3DS, there was issues there with smartphone gaming, and people did put their concerns out there. So Nintendo's never really headed into things as the favorite overall, or at least more like a positive outcome. It's always been like, it could go either way. So there are some times where it has, but most of the time it's like, okay, things might not work out well, especially from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch, because the Wii U sold so poorly. But I do want to get into this just a little bit because I find this very interesting, because the Nintendo Switch has been such a cultural phenomenon overall and has sold so much. It's actually completely reversed the fortunes of the predictions of what we would see going forward. And if you look at it overall, it would be very difficult for the Nintendo Switch 2 to match what the Nintendo Switch did or better. And the reason why I say that is because almost no systems in the history of the gaming industry have matched what the Nintendo Switch has done. It's sold pretty much about 150 million units at this point, and that is third best all time, and it's coming up on the Nintendo DS for second best. So there's been decades in this gaming industry, and only a few platforms have ever hit what the Nintendo Switch has hit. Well, Nintendo Switch by itself, only two other platforms, DS and the PlayStation 2. So a safe bet would be like, okay, it's not going to do that well. However, the fact that Nintendo jumped on the hybrid architecture and the hybrid nature of the system, which I said would be the future. I was like, hey, look, this is probably going to be the future after I saw the full vision at that January 2017 presentation, because it's just like smartphones going from the regular landlines to smartphones. Why only have a game right there at home when you can have a game anywhere that you want? That's one of the big things that people just evolved with. It's just something that people want to have access to their games anywhere that they want. It's the same reason why Microsoft and Sony are now rumored to be making big dedicated portable devices. Now you're starting to see everybody, Valve and all these other companies, are kind of copying the model that Nintendo laid out there with a hybrid device, because people want access to their games at any point. And I think that that's one of the big reasons why we see all of these handheld PCs that are coming out. We see, once again, the PlayStation Portal. We see all these different things that are coming out in order to counteract what the market is asking for. The market has clearly shown that, yes, we want some type of hybrid system to where you can play your games. The Switch has obviously shown that, as it's the best-selling device since the Nintendo DS and the PlayStation 2 overall in the gaming industry. With Microsoft, the sales are always down year on year, and they've been down year on year for like years now. Like, I know I'm not trying to do a pun or tongue twist or anything like that. I'm kind of making a little bit of a joke, but yeah, it seems like every year, and which I don't really pay attention too much to that. I look at the overall sales, but Microsoft doesn't give us the overall sales, but it seems like every single year in multiple regions, it's down year on year each time. And no matter what they've done with new bundles or different types of games that are coming out or Game Pass or whatever the case is, the sales aren't going up. So I think that's where this is coming from. You look at the PlayStation 5, it's doing pretty good, but it is behind the PlayStation 4 in sales so far. If you line them up when it comes to launch aligned, it's behind a little bit. So I think that's what DFC Intelligence is looking at. They're looking at the fact that Microsoft sales are so bad at this point, and the PlayStation 5 is not keeping up with the PlayStation 4, and they're seeing how much the Switch dominated when it comes to their sales and saying, hey, look, at this point, there might not be enough room for all three. Now, I still feel that there is room for all three. And let me give you guys a few reasons why there is, because I think that Microsoft is going to completely renovate what they're doing. They are going to probably make multiple devices, a portable device, and a home console open device. So it's going to be like a PC Steam box, something like that, right? The Steam machines or whatever the case is. Remember those? I think that Microsoft is going to make a hybrid between them, whereas you can play the first party big Microsoft games if you want to play those, right? And they're going to be on PC anyway, so they're all going to be there. But then you can also have Steam on there. And then there'll be a portable component that'll be like a Steam Deck, to where it'll link up your Xbox and your Steam and everything. So if they create something like that, or multiple devices like that, that would obviously throw a wrench into what DFC Intelligence is saying. And I think that could be successful depending on the price, depending on the marketing and other things, and how many big games Microsoft has to truly push that unit. Why should you buy this over a Steam Deck or over a regular PC? Why should you buy their box? So I think that's what Microsoft's going to do. If they can get that off the ground, that can still do well. Now, will it beat out PlayStation 6? Probably not. Will it beat out the next Nintendo system? Probably not. But that doesn't mean there isn't room for all three. It sucked when we lost Sega, but Sega was lost for a variety of reasons that were some in their control, some out of their control. But they had a lot of failed hardware before the Sega Dreamcast came out. So I think that was one of the huge factors. They were running through or burning through cash faster than anything at that point. So I do feel that there is room for all three, but you just have to get a little bit creative when it comes down to it. Remember, it wasn't too long ago that some people were feeling that Nintendo was going to go out of the hardware business just like Sega because of the Wii U and because the Nintendo 3DS sales were half of the Nintendo DS. So it wasn't that long ago. Things can change fairly quickly when it comes to the video game industry and overall and what people are thinking if you bring out something that really gets people thinking about the hardware and the games and how they work together in order to be great. So I do feel that there is still an opportunity for Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo to all have a lot of success in the current industry right now and going forward, but they're going to have to bring their A game. All of them. When it comes to Nintendo, their first party titles selling the system, PlayStation, getting that up to date, getting things kind of going a bit faster overall, and of course Microsoft, what they actually want to do with their multi-platform strategy. Like, how are they going to do that? How are the games going to come out? And what is this next device going to be? I think it's going to be so crucial that they nail this 2 hardware tier strategy, which the insiders are all saying they're going to do. They've got to nail that, and they've got to make sure that it's cost effective in addition to very well done. So I think that could be a plan for all three of them to still be successful in the next generation. So what do you guys think about that? You can let me know in the comment section. But now we are going to move on to another topic that I wanted to discuss, and that is Octopath Traveler. We've got the sales, shipments, digital, all of that. 5 million plus for the series so far. And this is a series that just started in 2018. It's more of a smaller double A type of series. So to see that it sold 5 million units plus, and I'll break down exactly how that 5 million and what it is between shipments, digital sales, physical sales. We'll talk about that. So let's talk about this right here. So total shipments and digital sales for Octopath Traveler series have surpassed 5 million units. Square Enix announced, shout outs to Gamatsu for this one. And they said to celebrate the milestone, both Octopath Traveler and Octopath Traveler 2 are currently on sale on digital marketplaces at 60% and 50% off discount prices, respectively, until January 7th, 2025. Square Enix also released a commemorative illustration by Rika Okazaki. So this is a pretty cool thing here. I like what's going on. Octopath Traveler has been a staple in the gaming industry since 2018, and the most recent one, Octopath Traveler 2, came out in 2023. There was a mobile game as well, and now you can enjoy Octopath Traveler on all platforms. First, it was exclusive to Nintendo Switch, then it was able to make its way over to Xbox, and then it was kind of weird with the Octopath Traveler 2, which was on PlayStation, but then the first one wasn't on there, and then the second one wasn't on Xbox, so it's kind of weird, but they finally got everything out, and it's on sale. If you like old school Final Fantasy, this is the game for you. It's essentially old school Final Fantasy with a 16-bit HD twist. So if the 16-bit generation never really evolved past what the graphics were, the sprites, and they decided to make it in high definition, that's what Octopath Traveler is. And it's fantastic if you love those old school games. I love Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. I think that they are phenomenal games. I put a ton of time into both of them, so I highly recommend it. And yeah, people are going out there and playing it as well. Now, when it comes to the shipments and digital sales, essentially Square Enix sells that to the retailer, and once they sell it to the retailer like Best Buy or like any of these other retailers out here, Walmart, Target, they essentially get their money right there at that point. They're not talking about sold through, which would actually be to the consumers, but right now, 5 million units that's been pushed out there. And of course, at some point, they'll ship more units. We have a sale that's going on right now as well. So that does count the digital sales, physical sales, and of course, the shipments being put out there. Octopath Traveler, fantastic game. Highly recommend it. Now, we are going to move on to a new game coming out next year. We finally got a release date for Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact. We've got a summer 2025. It's coming out for PS5, Switch, and PC. So publisher Bushiroad Games and developer Aiding have announced Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact will launch once again this summer 2025. I'm excited about this. We've got some details on the game. We've got the 3 versus 3 Nen ability team battles. You can engage in an epic 3-on-3 battle, just like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. These developers, when it comes to Aiding, they worked on that game, so you can see a lot of that DNA in here. You have the rush combo system, which lets you simply tap an attack button repeatedly while holding the rush button to unleash some powerful combos, perform exhilarating rush combos with ease. You have the online battle. You can climb the leaderboard by competing for rank points with players online. So this is a little bit new. I didn't hear about the online stuff here. I knew that there would be online play, but they didn't explain it. So the more points you have, the higher your rank. Aim for the top and become a 3-star hunter. You can place your GI cards on the line, try unlocking all of them. And then you have the story mode, so you can relive iconic scenes and battles from the original Hunter x Hunter animated series through battles against the CPU. Some stages serve as a tutorial, so try this mode first to understand the basics of gameplay. So yes, that's what I'm definitely going to do, but unfortunately, I don't think that there's crossplay with this one, and I think that that's a huge mistake. There should absolutely be crossplay, cross save with this one, but maybe they just don't have the technical know-how to get that done, or they weren't, I would say, authorized to try to see if they can get that done. But Hunter x Hunter is not the biggest anime out there. It's not like it's Dragon Ball Z or Naruto. Like, I don't know what the player base is going to be on each one of these individual systems. Like, where are most people going to pick up this game? So I'm still hoping that they do the rollback netcode, which I think that they said that they're going to do. So rollback netcode, and it needs to have cross-save, cross-play. If it has that, then this game has a bit of a chance when it comes down to it. But even if it ends up not doing crazy numbers or anything, at least they tried with a Hunter x Hunter game, because there are essentially no good Hunter x Hunter games. And I'm a huge Hunter x Hunter anime fan, and there are no good games out there. I covered it in a video that I did a while back. Most of the games suck overall, or just never made it over here to the West. So this is probably going to be the best Hunter x Hunter game, and I think that it works for what the series is overall when it comes to the fight. So looking forward to seeing the game overall. And of course, I'll be picking it up. I just don't know what system I'm getting it on. Maybe PC, just because that might be the place where most people pick it up when it comes to Hunter x Hunter, but who knows at this point. So what do you guys think overall when it comes to all the different topics here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.